Right now, we're seeing Israel and Iran go to war with one another. But what's interesting about this is that Iran, which was formerly known as Persia, is actually mentioned in the Bible as one of the 5 nations Israel would be in conflict with in the last days.
So then, where's the other 4?
The Bible tells us in Ezekiel 38 that eventually Libya, Sudan, Turkey, and Russia are going to join Iran in an attack against Israel on their northern hills, known as the Golan Heights today.
What's interesting about this is that all of the nations involved in this attack currently have relative peace with one another,
and a mutual hate for the nation of Israel, with the exception of maybe Russia.
But that's actually part of the prophecy too.
The Bible says that Russia and its leader are going to have to be somewhat coerced to join the nations in this battle. Maybe for economic or political reasons, we don't know. But what we do know is that all of these nations are going to collectively attack the Jewish state of Israel. But God is going to intervene.
Now, before I tell you how God's going to intervene, you first need to know why God's going to intervene on Israel's behalf.
And it has nothing to do with how Christianized Israel is. In fact, Israel has one of the smallest populations of Christians in the world. The Bible says that God picked Israel as his chosen people, not because they were so great or righteous. He picked them because they were small and weak. Throughout biblical history, God has shown his strength in defending this tiny nation the size of New Jersey,
despite how weak and rebellious they've been over the years.
But this battle is going to be different because it's going to cause Israel, a nation that has rejected Christ for years, to come back to him in the last days.
And here's how it happens.
These 5 nations are going to cross the Syrian border into Israel's Golan Heights with their armies. The Bible says they are going to cover the land like a cloud. So we know there's going to be a massive number of troops. But before they have the chance to attack, God is going to cause the largest earthquake in Israeli history. Then the Bible says God is going to cause Russia's weapons to misfire and explode on themselves. This will create confusion among these 5 nations to the point that they start attacking themselves instead of Israel. And if that's not bad enough, the Bible says God is going to send rain, giant hail, and fire and brimstone against this army.
This prophesied battle often gets a lot of attention from pastors and Bible teachers because it's a sign that the end is near.
But what's often overlooked about this battle is what happens in sign number 7. This sign actually happens simultaneously with the last sign we just covered.
And it has to do with the nations not mentioned in this battle. Another sign that we as students of Bible prophecy should be looking for as an indication of the last days
is that many nations who were once hostile against Israel, like Egypt, Iraq, and other modern Arab states, are now either at some level of peace with Israel or are mostly indifferent towards the Jewish state.
But it goes even deeper than that.
Nations who have defended Israel in the past, like the United States, are no longer going to come to Israel's aid. God is the only one who's going to defend this tiny nation when this attack takes place. This means that in the last days, you're going to see the US become less of an ally of Israel, or